So this girl number 2, man. She's also a history maker. Reagan Riddick. This girl is tough. I mean, she will hand fight you to death if you stand in front of her. She is so good in the hand fight. So good in the hand fight. I think it surprises a lot of her competition when they stand in front of her that you're going to get beat up. if you try to stand and fight with Reagan Riddick, you're in trouble. So, but she's a first flight kid, which I'm along with first flight, coached by. She's currently coached by Russell Kepler, but out there with Jason Bryholtz and who's my coach. He's not really in the sport right now, but and then Shane Baum and all those guys out there. And so I've been hearing about this Reagan Riddick girl since she was like early middle school. Coach Baum was mentioning it to me. She's like, he would say, "Hey, we got this young lady coming up," or Coach Kepler would drop me something, or even some of the other coaches in the area would be like, "All right, there's this young lady that's going to be pretty special when she gets to high school," and I'd check on her results every once in a while, and she proved it last year. She was only a freshman last year, and she qualified for the boys state tournament at 113 at 2A, and she also went up a weight at the girls state tournament and won a state title pretty convincingly there. So she's another one that I feel like is kind of going to be she's the new torchbearer. As far as like Heaven's kind of exiting her career and Reagan's kind of beginning the career, so I think she's kind of the next thing. And like I said, I heard about her a lot, being from that area. Really good kid. She helped set history for First Flight too. First Flight's the only school that's had 2 girls qualify for the state tournament, with Alex Newglen qualifying a few years ago. She was in between, just 120 in between that Jeremiah Derby, Arian Lee hammer crew they had there. So First Flight with history with the girls wrestling, and Reagan, man, she's another kid like Heaven that's wrestling everywhere, performing really well. Didn't have the Super 32 I was hoping she would have, or I thought she could have, but she's still young, still developing. I think she's really working on her leg attacks. Good kid too, from everything I hear. So just excited about her potential. That's why she's landing number 2 on the big board, just kind of all her accomplishments going forward. And I'll tell you, man, her and Heaven Fitch are not very far in weight. I want to see that matchup. I want to see that matchup. I don't think it's going to happen this year in season, just because the abbreviated COVID season and who you're allowed to wrestle and stuff. But that, to me, that is the match to make in women's wrestling, man, for North Carolina.
Someone make it happen, okay?
Yeah.
Someone make it happen. Justin Hardy, if you're listening, Gauntlet Wrestling Productions, someone, reach out to both of them, and let's make this happen, okay? Let's make the first state champ and Mrs. Riddick. Let's do this. I want to see that. I think I agree with what you said. In the fact of, I think Reagan's the next one. She's the one that's gonna kind of have the torch passed on from Heaven, and that would just be awesome to see. And like you said, I don't know if it's going to happen during season with no tournaments and only duels until postseason. But that'd be an amazing match to see at the end, and kind of a cool little storyline of Heaven wrapping up her high school career. And here's one last North Carolina match with the girl that's going to follow in my footsteps here.
Yeah, 100%. And so I typed up a little article for Southeast Wrestle a while back for Jason Fulmore, and I put this as like one of my most anticipated matches of the year. I think I took a little flack for it on Facebook because a couple people were like, "Oh, well, a couple years ago, Heaven beat her in the pretty convincingly in freestyle," and I think someone from Riddick's camp came back and was like, "Yeah, it was like 2 years ago, and Heaven won the freestyle match, but Riddick won the folk style match or whatever." 2 years ago is a long time, guys. Even if it was a year ago, it's a long time at this point, especially because Riddick's on the young end too. 2 years ago, she was in middle school for one. And then also, I don't really care if it's happened before. They could wrestle next week. I still want to see it again later. Kyle Dakin, Jordan Burroughs have wrestled what, like 8 times, 7 times, something like that, and that's probably the most anticipated matchup of Olympic team trials, right?
Yeah.
So just because it happened before doesn't mean I don't want to see it. And like I said, if it's a couple of years ago, I mean, so much has changed since then. I hope we can make that match. I know both. I know both camps would be down to wrestle because those two girls will wrestle whoever, whenever, for sure. And then, but they're not the only two girls in the state, man. They're 1 and 2, but this number 3 girl, Joelle and Hutto, I think she's going by Jade or JJ. I'm seeing the results. She just won down in the Myrtle Beach Throne tournament. I saw, and I